by Riverside.
And just like that, we are back. It's the 4th&1 podcast coming to you live from Lancaster and Lidditz, Pennsylvania. As always, I am your host and producer, Fancy Trash Can, a.k.a. Admiral, you like that, a.k.a. self-nickname, a.k.a. Ding Dong. Sitting next to, as always, is my co-host and the person who knows more than I am. However, if the copier repairman was a person, it would be Captain Boring himself, Micaiah Schlicker.
Yo, what it do? How's it feel to be be once again the second smartest person on this podcast?
Pretty good, getting the upgrade from number 3 to number 2. See, just struggling right there immediately. Feels pretty good. All things considered. Micaiah, let's just start with Michigan, as we are Michigan fans, and we like to always lead off with that. How you feeling after seeing J.J. McCarthy? And I wish I knew this off. He had, 96 completion percentage? What did he have?
88.
Oh, he did have some guys end up dropping stuff, huh?
Yeah.
I must have missed that in his. He went 19 for 20?
He went 22 of 26 for 278 and 3 touchdowns on the day.
I didn't know I thought he threw the ball like 40 times, so goes
No,
to
man, Michigan's rolling right along. J.J. McCarthy, listen, Simeon, he would probably be in your Heisman consideration. You're absolutely right, and he might be there at the end of the day. However, Michael Penix, Caleb Williams, and Shedeur Sanders are lighting it up. Michael Penix had 409 yards. Caleb Williams had 2 incompletions and 281 yards and 5 touchdowns. And Shedeur Sanders had a cool 393 yards again. So the Heisman race is going to be very competitive this year.
For sure. It's definitely going to be who has the best air raid offense is what it sounds like. Who, by the way, for those of you reminding, was Caleb Williams. Micaiah did put them in the preseason superlatives. I don't even know.
I knew what you meant. Immediately I knew what you meant.
Best air raid offense being USC and best offense being Michigan, of all things. There's actually who you put in there. Michigan is on their way to going undefeated. They are 2-0.
Yeah, they're just cooking. I mean, on 7 of the drives J.J. McCarthy was heralding, they scored 5 times. The other ended inside the 20. They got to figure out their short yardage situation. Can't always keep running Corum dead set up the middle. That just doesn't work anymore. So, but yeah, I'm feeling good so far. Haven't played anyone. Probably feeling like Georgia fans, Yeah, Georgia's hanging out there at number 1.
It's their preseason night game this week, 7:30, Bowling Green. Again, they haven't left the state of Michigan for their cupcakes under the Harbaugh era, minus once to Notre Dame, which would technically have been scheduled under He Who Shall Not Be Named.
Once to Notre Dame and once to Utah.
That's right. Both of those, that was year 1, year 2, right?
Something like that. Year 1, year 3, something like that, yeah. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and jump over here. We'll kind of break it down from the games that we watched, by ranking. And the big news, obviously, nothing changed for your 1, 2, 3. Well, technically number 3 changed. Florida State handled. Who did they play again? I'm looking it up. Sorry. Southern Mississippi. They absolutely handled it 66-13. They're up to 3 now, but of course the big news is, you are waiting for this drop. Hold on. We're back!
Oh, yeah!
Of course,
yes!
It's Texas beating Alabama. Might I say they looked professional at least, or looked like they know what they were doing at least. Quinn Ewers looking good as always. Slimmed down, lost the mullet. 34-24 is the final. They put it together Steve Sarkisian is the second assistant to beat, after Jimbo Fisher, who we'll talk about later, to beat Alabama. Third?
Kirby Smart was also did it.
That's right.
I
don't count him.
Well, he is the best one. Texas really did a lot of firsts against Nick Saban, Alabama. So they beat him, ended Nick Saban's 58 non-conference home winning streak. First time since they lost since 2008, I believe, at home. In the non-conference, they scored 21 points in the fourth quarter. That's never been done before on a Nick Saban team. And the other major big thing is, for the first time under Nick Saban, the opposing quarterback was way better than Alabama's quarterback. And the reason Alabama lost the game was their own quarterback. First time ever for those two things. Under the Nick Saban, I should say anyway. I have Texas up to number 4 in my poll.
Can I make fun of you again? I haven't actually reacted. Did you send it in the text chat?
I did not, but I can go through it right now if you would like.
Yeah, let me live react to this.
All right. So mark it down. Maybe this is a clip. So Georgia number 1. Okay. This is where you stopped me last week. Florida State still number 2.
I'm actually okay with that this week.
Okay. All right. We're getting more on board. USC is at number 3.
Okay, I'll allow it.
All right. Texas is number 4. All righty.
Also Texas at number 4. I like actually.
That is also AP has Texas at 4 as well.
Yeah.
Washington is at 5.
Yeah.
Penn State is at 6.
No.
Michigan 7.
I see what you're doing. Okay.
Notre Dame 8.
Disagree with for a weird reason. Continue.
All right. Ohio State 9.
Okay.
And then the Mamba, Oregon, 81 points against Portland State. And then close road win last week, but it was a tough environment. Oregon at 10.
So the only one I disagree with you is I'd actually rank Notre Dame higher. To me, the games that I remember last year, Notre Dame looks like a totally different team. They look a lot more confident. They lacked confidence last year because of, coach. And we had this conversation preseason. Year number 2 was always hand over fist better than year number 1. And to me, AP has them at 9. They're the only 3-0 team here, technically. I get it. They didn't really play anybody. They're now going into their ACC slate of games. I think they're playing someone on NBC at 2:30 because that's, when Notre Dame plays. I guess they're taking on
I think
Central Michigan at 2:30. Look at that. Did I not? I guess Catholics need a break for lunch. I don't know. So yeah, they took on NC State. So they didn't beat nobody. But I think the fact that you did exactly what I told you and said you needed to do week 1 against Navy or week 0 against Navy. You had to beat them by the spread. And they did that. They went into Tennessee State, did it again. They've only allowed 6 points in the first 2 weeks. Then they went in and doubled basically the score of their last 5-8, 6 and not 5-8. Sorry, 6-6, 5-7 kind of team in NC State, and they got Central Michigan this upcoming, which is great for Ohio State, which upset alert for sure.
Absolutely,
they do not look as good. Yes, Marvin Harrison Jr. does, but they always have wide receiver talent. Take on number 22 Duke, who has also impressed.
Yeah, Duke.
Louisville, USC, an unranked Clemson, Wake Forest, and Stanford with a Pitt thrown in there as well. They have a very, very good shot.
They have a very good shot at making the college football playoff with 1 loss. I saw where you were going with that.
I stopped.
But that schedule with how hard it is, the Ohio States, the USCs, the Dukes now, like if they beat 6 ranked teams and then lose to like, if they beat 5 of 6 ranked teams left on their schedule, how do you say that that's not worthy? I get it, conference championship game, that comes into play. It will be a very interesting discussion down the road.
To me, it depends who they lose to, right? If they lose to Ohio State or USC, right, and then Ohio State puts it together somehow, or USC keeps doing what USC has been doing, and Caleb Williams should win the Heisman again if he keeps doing what he's doing, again, cupcakes, then yeah, there's no reason why the one-loss Notre Dame team, it's going to be the most spectacular because they need to be in there. We need a different team than the other 3, and we already know probably 2, possibly 3. Love to see Texas win out here. But they're going to have to go through Colorado to do it.
Yeah, we'll have to.
What a joke. Okay, listen.
The fans storming the field. In Boulder.
No. I am, I like the swagger. I'm going to disagree with my brother-in-law here. I like the swagger of Deion. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Big fan of the swagger of Deion. That's where it ends. He seems like he's probably a good coach and good for his kids. But when he said, and I brought my Louis, I didn't take that. I took that as, I know how to win, so you better get on board or get off the bus.
He was saying he was bringing better players.
He was saying he was bringing better players. He did.
And he did.
But I didn't realize that.
Yeah, no one did. Shedeur Sanders is excellent. It's an air raid offense, but he is excellent. And then Travis Hunter is, I don't know how he's doing it. He's playing 120 snaps a game right now.
Because he loves the game of football.
He's on pace to do something so impressive if he keeps that up. Now, here's the deal. Colorado's defense is still ungood. Robert says, still not sold on Colorado. Move up 4 spots again, yet Duke hasn't moved, and North Carolina moved down 3 spots and 1. So he's having trouble with the AP poll rankings, Robert is, which I can't disagree with. But right now, Colorado's moving up. When they face competent offense, Oregon and USC, I think that this is going to be a very different story, because I foresee that being a double-digit loss just because their defense is not great. And the reason why Nebraska was nowhere close to being in that game was Jeff Sims. Like, it was there.
Oh, my gosh. You
Jeff
and I watched
Sims
that game
was
together.
So bad.
When you have what's the white guy name on the Fox broadcast? It's Gus Johnson, and I always forget his
Joel
name.
Klatt.
Joel Klatt.
Yeah.
A white man.
When you have Joel Klatt going, WTF? Why is he still on the field? I mean, you and I both. You said what? It cost them 2. 2 scores?
Four, it cost him. Well, he turned the ball over 4 times in the first half. If he literally just handed the ball off at every single play, they would have been better off. Like, he was so ungood. It was incredible. So ungood. So bad. He had 2 interceptions that were just why, and then 2 fumbles in which it snapped right to him, and he dropped it.
Yeah, it was bad, and because of Nebraska being Nebraska, we're just going to leave it at that because I want to talk about other things. Who's the Oregon head coach?
Dan Lanning. He was the defensive coordinator under Kirby Smart in 2021.
They hired him. Okay, dude's putting up. If we're doing winners and losers, okay, trending up, trending down. Trending up, Dan Lanning, putting together as a big-time program that Oregon has become, quite frankly.
Yeah,
he's trending up. He's doing a good job.
Yep,
we're going to talk about who's trending down though, because that's more interesting. And we called it at the beginning of the season. Jimbo Fisher.
Oh, man, I called it. I can't believe that should have been one of my guarantees because I called it from the first season. Look great in week 1, go to Miami, lose a game that they should win in Miami, 100%. Miami did not do any. Everyone's praising Miami. And don't get me wrong, Mario
Cristobal. They did what they needed to.
that's fine. Miami still can't run the football. Like, these teams eventually will learn that you win national championships and you beat good teams by running the football. You beat bad teams by throwing the football. But in order to be good teams, you run the football. So Miami didn't do anything spectacular. Tyler Van Dyke was amazing, and he threw for like almost 400 yards. But yeah, I mean, Texas A&M just kept shooting themselves in the foot. So
we called this, and we're going to revisit it because people have short-term memory. I have another trending down after this. I just remembered. Jimbo, week number 2, looked a lot worse. Are you still saying if it plays out, it's going to be week 6 that he's fired, or you think he's going to be fired sooner?
No, I think that they'll give him to the Bama game because they want to see how they compete against Bama. And now that might be, they might end up beating Bama, but then losing to Tennessee, and then the bye week, and then he might be fired because Bama did not impress anyone. For the trending down alert, Robert says about Bama is done. Texas looked good. Still brings up question if Quinn Ewers was healthy, does Texas beat Bama last year too?
Yes.
And I think the answer to that is absolutely they do. They were winning the game.
They were winning the game. They totally win. It was in Austin. There's no way they don't win the game. I'm putting it, I am making the clip right now. The dynasty is over. Alabama fans, welcome back to reality. This is New England circa 2020.
Snap back to reality.
Oh, there goes gravity. Listen, this is your new norm. You're going to be a great team. There are going to be years that Nick Saban's probably going to retire within the next, 8 years, 5 years.
5 years, I would think, yeah.
He's going to get you 10 wins probably every season. He might get you 12 some seasons, and you might go win a national championship, but it's not the domination anymore. Georgia's too good. There's too much parity in the conference. Sorry, scrap that. Do you watch SEC shorts, Micaiah?
No. I'm going to say no.
Okay. It's hilarious. There's 2 comedians that do basically breakdowns of the SEC as characters.
Okay.
And one is SEC Shorts, the other is like Matt, something like that. Anyway, the SEC Shorts was people who basically are calling it dead too soon. Call Alabama time of death 2022. August 2020, September 2022. That is when your dynasty ended.
Like last year?
Like last year.
We
didn't see it. We didn't see it until today. But you were a zombie last year, basically.
I was listening to college football, and they said that last year was kind of the first year that
college football.
All of college football. I was listening to all of college football. You dick. That last year was the first time that they saw like 12 men on the field for Alabama and substitutions and really blown coverages. So you're not wrong. September 2nd, I think it was September 9th, 2022, is the day that they went to Austin and they kind of filled the state. Sealed their fate for their dynasty going in decline, especially at the quarterback position. Jalen Milroe cannot get it done. They're going to have to make a quarterback change before the season's over.
Yeah, the fix for Alabama, the thing that did him in is kind of funny. It's brain drain. Too much turnover in leadership roles.
Yep.
Gets you sloppiness.
Yep.
Nick Saban can't do it all himself. He's aging. No offense. He's still going to be one of the greatest college coaches, possibly coaches of all time. There's no doubt about that. But eventually you lose. And eventually you let too many of your assistants go or can't convince them to stay or whatever the case is.
Speaking of losing and being let go, are you up to date with the Mel Tucker thing?
I was just about to transition to that.
All righty. Well, I did it for you. So for those of you
I'm in danger.
that don't know, Mel Tucker is in danger of losing
Again, humans
his
are pretty dumb.
job. Apparently, in December, a famous
Sexual assault awareness speaker.
and
quote, unquote.
rape survivor. She's also a rape survivor, I guess.
Yeah.
Didn't tell the school, came out in a statement in December that Mel Tucker had engaged in what is being perceived or what is being reported as a one-sided relationship with this woman.
He Louis C.K'd them. That's what he did.
Sure.
He Louis C.K'd them.
Let's not talk about what that means. Go look it up, everyone, if you don't know what that means. So, anyway, he Louis C.K'd.
Ew, David.
Thought it was consensual. That's not the case. That was back in December that Mel Tucker said he told school officials. It is only coming out now. He is on. He's been suspended without pay. And Robert says Mel Tucker is definitely being entrapped by Michigan State, meaning they're just looking for a way to fire him. They were looking for a way to fire him, and this is it. And I 100% agree. Right, wrong, or indifferent, whatever the outcome of this is, I'm not between him and this woman. I really don't care about. I want to look at the college football. They were looking for a way to get out of his $77 million contract that's remaining.
Yeah.
And this is it. He gave them a loaded gun. They're going to pull it. They're going to get out of his contract because Michigan State's not great.
I don't have anything to say. I think it's just very ironic that Tucker hired Tracy to speak about sexual assault, and then
2 years in a row, and she was a captain at a spring game as well.
He Louis C.K'd her, which is a hilarious joke for those of you in the know. At least it is to me.
Wasn't bad. Appalachian State keeps. Why do people book them? Did you
always
see they
week
almost?
3. It's always week 3 of college football, which is week 2.
North Carolina. Yeah, 40 to 34. Do you remember last year when App State scored like 42 points in the fourth quarter or something like that?
Upset.
No,
Texas
they lost.
A&M.
Oh, yes.
It was week 2.
They upset A&M and then lost at home to UNC the following week.
Everybody was like, "Oh, they're gonna do good," and then they fell flat on their face the rest of the season. They came out too fast, apparently. Yeah. What is it? For those of you also keeping track, I just have to burn Micaiah here a little bit. He cannot pick against the spread to save his life. He is 500 right now. Robert and I are 7-3, and Micaiah is 5 for 5.
Yeah, but we're all tied. We're all tied in the pick section. Our 3 picks, we're all 3-3 through 2 weeks. So let's just pump the brakes there, Chachi. Okay, all right.
I was surprised with some of this with what I came down with. Dear Lord, I can't talk today.
For those of you that we touched on this a little bit.
I'm trying.
Miami did beat Texas A&M 48-33. We didn't say the score, but it was pretty handily that happened.
It was.
Is that your new favorite soundbite?
That's the best way of saying it. I don't have anything else I wanted to talk about that happened last week.
I'm just looking. Oklahoma State not going to be. Oh, Jaden Rashada at Arizona State threw for 167 yards, but they lost. Hawaii beat Albany, so there you go. There's that for you.
Hawaii. There you go. Were they at what stadium were they at?
They were at Hawaii.
Oh, you would not like that flight back.
Iowa still not. You know that Brian Ferentz, it's reworked in his contract that they have to average 25 points per game this season.
Just about to make that joke.
24 in week 1, 20 in week 2. Both W's, but they're not scoring anymore. Like, they still have offensive problems, even with Cade McNamara and Eric All.
Listen,
2 Michigan players.
Michigan recruit for you, it's hard. I'm interested to see what Iowa can do, but obviously I'm probably watching more of Wisconsin, and I can't wait for them to actually play somebody who I care about. Let's talk about this week. We got an interesting Friday night matchup. Oh, by the way, sorry, one of my picks that I picked last week came back and won it by 1 point, and that is the JMU Bulldogs. I just have to say, they came back, they saved it, and then lo and behold, Connecticut couldn't go and beat the spread 25 points against who the F were they playing? Some other bad team. But yeah, you couldn't even. Okay. Anyway, Army UTSA, Micaiah.
That's not an interesting game.
It is because UTSA is playing.
No, it's not.
Okay.
Also, Duke is favored by over Northwestern by 18.5, and I missed that when I was going through my picks. Wow, everyone go hammer that Duke minus 18.5. Holy moly.
Over, who are they playing?
Northwestern, who beat UTEP 38-7. Okay, but that's like UTEP's, like, that's going to be their only win on the year. Yay, Northwestern, you won a game.
You did something.
Akron.
Now go lose. Oh,
Akron came back. So the fighting Kevin Kearns were good there. Oh, by the way, your precious James Madison are actually road underdogs this week.
Who are they playing? I don't know. I'm trying to pull up FanDuel.
Where
do you
did
think if we say it enough, they'll finally sponsor us?
FanDuel, blah, 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 blah. Does that count?
Okay.
They're on the road at Troy on the NFL Network, 7 p.m.
Interesting. Troy's a good team, but Interessante. Okay, Micaiah, this Penn State-Illinois game, please tell me this is nothing after Illinois lost last week.
That's what's nothing.
The game.
Oh, yeah, the game is nothing. Spoiler alert, it is on my picks, so stick around for the end. I'm really impressed with Penn State. As you saw in my rankings, I have them 6, one higher than their ranking now, 1 spot ahead of Michigan. Drew Allers really impressed me. So is that defense. Defense really nasty. It will be interesting. First road game for Drew Aller. It's going to be popping in Champaign. Ha, see what I did there? I didn't even try that. Popping in Champaign.
Wow. Look at you go.
Yeah, did you like that? I didn't even try it. You like that?
I really didn't.
You like that? Yeah. Now he's
going to
make me
actually scroll down and
Well,
find
no, I'm
it.
not going to make you, but I'm trying to delay because I know that you're going to
Killing me, Smalls.
Okay, you're killing yourself.
My name is Jeff.
I think it'll be something for a half. Drew Aller might struggle a little bit for a half, but Illinois' got a good defense, but no offense, and Penn State's got both. So I think it ends up being a Penn State rout.
I'm trying very, very hard to look at.
They say this is Franklin's best team, by the way, as well.
That's fair. I don't think they're wrong about that.
But I do, because the quarterback is not experienced. I think in order for it to
doesn't
be
mean
your
that's
best
not his best team, though.
No, I think it does. I really do. I think his best team was that team that lost to USC in the Rose Bowl with Saquon and McSorley. I think that was his best team.
Effing Trace McSorley. Gotta love. I think this is going to turn into his best team, and then if he doesn't do anything, when does he get fired? By the way,
James Franklin.
Yeah.
Not as long as he keeps winning games.
As long as he keeps going 10-2 and doesn't get to a Big Ten championship.
Because 10-2 might now make the college football playoff.
Blah, blah, blah. Do you think games are going to get softer, by the way, or harder? Because, no offense, if Alabama wins out, right, a single loss to Texas, not half bad.
No, not half bad at all. Yep.
Not half bad at all, especially in the SEC.
So what do you mean by softer and harder?
Will teams stop scheduling effing cupcakes? Can we finally have a 2-loss national championship for once in my GD life?
I think you're going to see more, actually. I think you're going to see...
I hate this.
I think you're going to see 2 cupcakes and 10 conference
Screw
games,
conferences. Probably. You stop scheduling cupcakes.
No, I think you're going to see a lot of cupcakes because the conferences are now tougher. So they want those wins guaranteed. We're starting 3-0 before we start conference play, right? Like that's what they're aiming for. Or if you're the SEC, I want to start 4-0 because we only play 8 conference games, but yet we're the best conference. That was my old person voice. How'd I do?
It was very good.
10 out of 10. Would recommend.
Poison.
Sad or mad? I don't know why that.
Georgia, South Carolina. I thought that would be an interesting game.
You know, I'm trying to find. I'm going through the game. I'm going through the picks right now.
It's 29.
Georgia Southern. That's who Connecticut couldn't keep within the spread of.
Oh, guess what? No one cares.
You know what? But the bettors do, and I would have made them money.
Do they though? Like 9 people listen to this podcast.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I guarantee
we have 22 subscribers.
None of them put any amount of money.
You know who I feel bad for
games.
this week? South Florida.
Yes. So spoiler
play
alert,
Alabama.
those are on the picks later.
I was gonna pick that one, so I will not.
It's
because
not
I was
my
gonna
picks.
pick
It's on
guys.
Roberto's.
Okay, well, they're getting 31.5. Minus 31.5 Alabama. They will be putting 70 points on Southern Florida.
Putting 70
So
points.
whether or not, so that's also the over. If you want two different bets as well, the over is 60.5. They will be hitting that by themselves. Alabama has a tendency to take out their anger on the next team.
I wonder what the halftime spread and over under is, because I would bet the over for both of those things. Like, I would bet Alabama, because it's probably like 21.5 is the halftime spread. I would absolutely bet that. It's going to be like 35-0 at halftime.
They're angry. If you think you've seen a Psycho X before, you haven't seen Alabama after a loss.
I don't think this week we have any ranked on ranked games.
Kansas. That's who I was thinking of.
Michigan plays Bowling Green. Any interest in talking about that?
Not really. I'm interested to see J.J. McCarthy do well again. We do not. Are you kidding me? Hawaii takes on Oregon, which is just interesting. There is not a single ranked-on-ranked matchup.
Are you interested in where game day will be? Colorado State at Colorado.
Can I just... So first of all, this game's going to suck because Colorado State sucks. Secondly, I'm now past it. I liked it when they were a sleepy underdog. Keep them asleep. I get it. He's a black coach. I don't mean to be racist. Okay? But like...
Well, no, but that's what he's promoting, right? Like 75% of his team, and yeah.
And so is the NBA is 99% black. Like, we don't see them promoting that in the NBA.
It's everyone in Austin Reeves, and that's it.
Just keep... It's okay. They can be really good. Promote them for being really good. Promote them for going more than 6-6, which they will eventually go. You know, if they do it.
Yeah.
He turned around a team. I get he brought Louis and he kicked a bunch of kids out. That makes me a little angry. I thought he was more just saying you're going to have to fight for it, and I didn't realize that that's not what he was saying. You know, but to be fair, it was a hostile takeover. Who the F cares at this point?
All right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a game. I just came up with it just now.
I love this game already.
Simeon's,
I love it.
Loves it already. Simeon's mad at Colorado. Robert is just, he is absolutely infuriated. I am also at Colorado. I am also whatever at Colorado. Again, they're acting like an underdog. They're no longer an underdog. I think they get routed next week, USC, week after Oregon.
Oh,
Simeon,
I hope so at this point.
Right?
Turned.
Like, it just gets... Okay, so you're on our side now.
I have turned... I still think they're going to be a 6 or 7 win team, but I have turned against them.
Okay. All right. That's fair. All right. So no ranked on ranked matchups. We covered that, right?
We have 2 rivalries, though.
2 rivalries. Don't care. They're probably... No one cares about these. Okay. So here it is. I'm going to give you which game you would rather watch. Okay?
Yeah.
South Carolina at Georgia or Oklahoma at Tulsa. Which game would you rather watch?
So that's the SEC game.
It's
not Tulane, right? It's Tulsa. You didn't misread that.
It's Tulsa, correct.
Yeah. No, 100%. South Carolina, Georgia.
Okay, all right.
South Carolina, Georgia. Because the other team might actually score some points.
All right. So those are 3:30 windows. Again, I'm just throwing out. Okay, would you rather watch LSU, Mississippi State, or Kansas State at Missouri?
Kansas State at Missouri.
Okay, that's on 12 noon SEC Network. Okay, I like it where it is going. Would you rather watch Alabama at... Oh, they're at South Florida. Woo! This is going to be a big-time route then. Yep. Alabama at South Florida or Minnesota at North Carolina.
Minnesota, North Carolina. Because, I think we might see a mid-season high firing if PJ Fleck does not win this game.
He won 9 games last year. That's what everyone keeps forgetting. They act like they went like 4-8. He won 9 games last year. He was 9-3.
Here's the issue. For everybody who's not a Minnesota fan, which, good job, and I'm fine if he goes 9-3 again as a Minnesota fan, because that context is key. You are right, Micaiah. Because I'm coming from a Michigan perspective. And, what Michigan reloaded with Now, if you're not in the Natty this year, we're upset because we have wasted potential. For Minnesota, they're elated because they're actually good for once in their life. Minnesota is just an old franchise. They haven't been around. They have been around, but they don't really have any pedigree. They don't have national championships out the wazoo. Championships too.
Hey, either one gets the job done, my dude.
Yeah, so it's like 93. Great. Okay, so he won't get fired. Ignore me. Third Saturday in September. That is one of the rivalry games. Tennessee versus Florida.
Hey, I was getting there. That was going to be my next one.
Okay.
Tennessee, Florida.
You said there were no good games this week.
Or Washington at Michigan State. Which is the better game there?
Oh. What time is the Washington game?
So Washington, Michigan State is on Peacock at 5 p.m. And then as you can see there, number 11 Tennessee on the road in the Swamp at 7 p.m.
If I had to pick between those two games, where I'm at right now, I'm going to pick the Washington game because I want to see Michigan State get Mel Tuckered by Washington.
Okay. Robert has a hot take for Tennessee, Florida.
And what is that?
Tennessee falls to Florida in the Swamp.
I don't disagree.
The thing is, Tennessee had 9 points at halftime, 10 points at halftime against Austin Prey last week.
Yeah.
Joe Milton didn't even lead the game in passing. That was the Austin Prey quarterback. They ended up winning like 38-13 or something like that. Florida's got a real good defense. Florida's defense is really good.
They put a team together.
Listen, I understand Utah with how they performed at Baylor with the backup quarterback isn't groundbreaking offensively, but Florida's going to line up and hit you in the mouth, and I don't know if Joe Milton can handle that. Hendon Hooker could, but I don't know that this Tennessee offense is as good as last year's Tennessee offense.
Could there be any less consequential big game than the third Saturday in September this week, this year?
While the third Saturday in October is always Alabama, Tennessee.
Right. Which might get up there. But, listen, Florida's in a rebuilding year. If you're a Florida fan, you like what you're seeing so far. They're 1-1, right? They lost their first game to Utah.
Correct.
Right?
And then they won last week, yes.
Okay. You're liking what you're seeing. Okay? It's Billy Napier's second season. This is a guy from a small school coming in and rebuilding Florida. Straight up. I get Dan Mullen was there for the win championships or whatever, but he's rebuilding. Okay. You're liking what you're seeing. Tennessee is going to lose either this game. If it's not this game, then one of the next 10. Probably 3 of the next 10. So this doesn't matter. It's going to be a fun game because you're right. It's going to be smash mouth gator ball. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be disgusting, and it's going to be an epic, spectacular thing. Either that or Joe Milton's going to go for like 500 yards throwing.
So here's the thing as well. Caesars Sportsbook has Tennessee only a 6.5 point favorite.
Ooh.
So even Vegas is like, hey, this Tennessee defense might be good, or this Florida defense might be pretty good, and this Tennessee offense is not as good as we remember. So that's going to be an exciting game to watch. So, Simeon, let's continue in our game.
Yep.
I think Joe Milton still needs to progress as a passer from the pocket. That's where Hendon Hooker really lit him. Shined. All right, let's do it this way. As we roll on to the 7 o'clock hours, Bowling Green at number 2 Michigan.
Well, of course I'm going to want to watch that game, but continue.
Or Pittsburgh at West Virginia.
Okay, so the backyard brawl.
Yeah.
Rekindled after years away.
Yeah, except
still don't give a damn about it.
It's still not great. Like Pittsburgh, for whatever reason, they're 1-1. Pittsburgh just.
You're talking about Pittsburgh people, and they're not like Philadelphia people. Like Philadelphia will get up for a rivalry game if they're 1-11.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh
You're
people
right.
won't. They just won't.
Bunch of yins and yous and y'alls.
Yeah, and this game hasn't had any. There's been no stakes for this game in recent memory.
They're both 1-1, so stakes
They're
of
both
who
1-1.
goes under 500.
So I don't know. Why don't you just meet in Greencastle for a sandwich and go your separate ways? I don't know. That seems like the more.
Who
thing
you
to
have?
do.
Pitt is favored by Uno points. Who you got? Make a
Where's
pick.
the game?
It is in West Virginia, Mountaineer.
West Virginia's winning.
West Virginia's winning. Everyone, mark it down, book it, write it with a pen. Don't erase it.
Iowa State is only getting 3 against Ohio.
They were. That was almost a pick of mine. The over-under specifically. Iowa State is not good offensively. They're good defensively.
Ohio has a semblance of an offense. I remember seeing them in week 0. By the way, how much of a crackhead am I that I actually that I wanted to watch week 0 football?
I don't think that. I think that makes you a normal person. All right, final round: Florida Atlantic at Clemson, TCU at Houston.
TCU,
because
Houston might win that game.
They might.
I keep
All
laughing
right,
like an evil person.
Here's one. So TCU 1-1, Houston 1-1. Houston lost last week, triple overtime to Rice, JT Daniels. High scoring affair, probably. Yards allowed. They're both allowing over 400 yards of offense. Over under 64.5. What you going with?
Who are the teams again?
Wow. TCU and Houston.
Over under is 54.5.
64.5. Maybe I said.
You probably said 64. I'm sorry. I'm trying to make my picks. I'm taking the over on that. Is the game in Dallas or in Houston?
Houston.
Yeah, it might even be more of a shootout then. TCU would want to play for something, I feel like.
I mean, let's just go and look at Houston and Rice. There was a combined 920 yards of offense last week in that game. So TCU, as we saw week 1, knows how to offense, doesn't know how to defense. It looks like Houston knows how to do that as well. So maybe take the over there. Absolutely. All right. Shall we go into our picks?
I believe we shall. I think with Robert not being here, he has to go. He has to go first.
Well, you're right. Not a lot of ranked matchup. Well, no ranked matchups as we touched on. Some very intriguing games, though. Like TCU Houston, just going to be fun to watch. You know what I'm saying?
Florida,
Tennessee.
This is a great week to be a college football fan because you kind of just get to sit and watch some football. You know, there's nothing really at stake. No one's winning the national championship in September. That's all I'm going to say.
No, but they can definitely lose the national championship in September. So you can never win it, but you can always lose it. Alrighty, so Robert thinks that Nick Saban's Alabama team is going to be pissed off. The coaching staff is going to be pissed off. They're on the road away from Den and Bryan. All they're going to hear all week long, dynasty dead, dynasty dead, dynasty dead. So he's saying take Alabama and all of their 32 points that they are favored over USF on the road.
Don't disagree with that at all. So far, I don't have one.
All right, then
I mean we're only on one. I have 3. My picks are ready to go.
All right, then
I'm saying I don't have the same one as Robert.
All right. Yep.
Penn State minus 14.5 against Illinois. Was that one of yours?
So you got Penn State at 14.5?
At 14.5. This is in Happy Valley. No, this is in Champaign. Sorry. This is in Champaign. This is a very angry Penn State team. I know they technically played last year, and it was fine.
It's a good Penn State team.
It's a good Penn State team. There's no reason they don't get 2 touchdowns in a field
and the
goal
way
extra. I'd like it better at 13.5, but I'd still like it at 14.5.
Defense is a lot better. Like Kansas let them have it on last Friday. And I understand, they kind of came back late to kind of, make it a game.
Good on Kansas, by the way.
Penn State's defense will not do that. Penn State's defense is much better than Kansas's. So I also took Penn State minus the 14.5 because of those reasons. Better defense than Kansas and a better offense as well.
Better ingredients, better pizza.
So Papa John's. All righty. Robert, for pick numero dos, has the Oregon Ducks and all their glories. The team that scored 81 in week 2 and then close win on the road last week in Texas Tech, in Lubbock. He wants them minus 37.5. He thinks that they are going to let Hawaii absolutely have it. Right now, Oregon is averaging 600 total yards offense. They are averaging 370 through the air, 230 on the ground. Their defense is giving up 328, and it's balanced 167 through the air and 130 on the ground.
So Hawaii has already been burned, and Oregon's going to set them on fire again. It's basically what you're telling me.
I guess so. That's a big number. I probably would have gone the other way, but Robert, we're all 3-3, by the way, so I can't say that one person is doing better than the other. You go ahead.
I still like both of those picks by Robert. I think
do.
They're gutsy, and they're probably going to have like really good odds. Like all of my bets are minus 110. They're all going to win you basically your money plus 90% back. So like, it's not great. Anyway, Duke's getting 18.5 points over Northwestern.
Other way around. Northwestern's getting 18.5. Duke's laying 18.5. I'll teach you. Yeah, come on over here. I'll learn you good.
Oh my gosh. Okay, Duke is ranked for the first time in, I don't know, a couple of years. I think they were just ranked a couple of years ago.
Forever.
Okay, maybe not. They're 2-0. They look like they actually have an offense, which is interesting. They put up 28 and 42 points. 42 points is enough. I was half tempted to take the over-under on this game, but maybe Northwestern shows up. So good for them. But yeah, 18.5 is pretty safe. I think it's a 21-point win easily.
So you're taking my suggestion from earlier in the show. Look at you listening to me. Look at you listening.
I'm also very impressed with the Duke Blue Devils right now.
You sneaky listener.
Simeon's obnoxious call, possibly ACC championship.
Okay, well, you're wrong because it'll be Florida State. Oh, you mean just Duke will be in the ACC championship?
Correct.
You ain't wrong. Dude, that's not that hot of a take.
They're at Florida State on October 21st.
Could
and they
you
have to get through
imagine
Notre
if they
Dame.
beat both Clemson and Florida State?
Could you imagine if they beat both Clemson, Florida State, and Notre Dame?
Okay, Notre Dame's going to Duke. College Game Day's never been to Duke. College Game Day might end up at Duke.
They should. That's going to be a good game. They're at you. By the way, whatever they're favored, if they beat Northwestern this week by the spread, bet it again next week. They're up against UConn, and apparently UConn can't do jack for anything because they put it. Makai, what's your next pick?
All right, I got the LSU Mississippi State game. This one is on at sometime in the day.
Yeah, this is what, a 3:30. The vibe it's giving me is a 3 o'clock game.
You know what? Let's play a new game. Let's guess the vibe of LSU, number 14 LSU and Mississippi State. What's the vibe to you?
It's a 3:30, 4 o'clock game.
I am getting a nooner vibe. So let's just look this up live on the air. It is a nooner game. Hey! Anyway, the over-under's 54.5. Will Rogers is back for like what feels like his 7th or 8th season at Mississippi State. They throw the ball around. LSU put up 66 points on Grambling last week, and then they got pushed around in week 1 by Florida State. So not like LSU has a fantastic defense. And their offense...
to talk about something.
Okay, we can talk about it then. and their offense is putting up 540 yards. So the over of 54.5 feels pretty safe to me. What do you want to talk about?
That is a great pick. I
Thank you.
agree with Micaiah again.
Appreciate you.
All the picks I've agreed with. I haven't disagreed with any. Wisconsin lost last week?
Oh, my goodness. We did forget to talk. How do we forget? Yes. Wisconsin went to the Palouse in almost Idaho.
Almost.
Oh, and you laugh at me. When teams go to play Washington State, they stay in Idaho.
Yeah, because of the area. Yeah,
It's
that's
literally right on the border. So anyway,
Yeah.
Thank you for laughing at that. I was being serious, but thank you. Yes, they went to the Palouse. They got dominated on the Palouse. Washington State's got a little something. Washington State, Oregon State. Have you been listening to my 10-minute sports report? You know that
No.
Oregon State, Washington State are suing, and they won. Well, so far they got a partial injunction. The current Pac-12 members are not allowed to have board meetings and are not allowed to vote on the future of the Pac-12. Washington State and Oregon State get to decide who gets to vote on what happens to the Pac-12 future, which I think is only right? Like, all the teams are leaving. They shouldn't be able to be like, okay, well, let's spend $50 million on this and that. No, like, it should be the only two teams left. I don't know what they're going to vote for because they need teams. Like, are the Washington State and Oregon State AD going to each other being like,
the Pac-2?
the two Pac? What we doing here? And I don't know. And what do you
wanna do? I mean,
want to
it's
do?
It's a fun little club, at least. You know what's going on. That next week's matchup against Oregon State looks very tasty right now.
So were we
More
then? Yes, it does.
tastemino.
It does look very tasty. So we were wrong about Wisconsin a little bit.
We were bad about Wisconsin.
Okay,
and
let's
that
not
throws the whole.
overreact.
And
Let's not overreact.
Listen, I was assuming Luke Fickell was going to come in and dominate, and so were you. You were expecting them to win out.
No,
Besides,
I said
1 or
10
2
and 2.
losses.
10 and 2.
Yeah. 1 or 2 losses, but not to Washington State.
You are correct. Not to Washington State, but tough place to play. Tough place to play up there in
Sure,
the Palouse.
and good. It speaks more of Washington State than it does of Wisconsin. I think what we have to sit back as we go, oh, this is a first-year head coach with no quarterback who's installing.
Well, and Phil Longo
Whatever he's
doesn't
installing.
100% like to run the football. Like, that's why Mac Brown at North Carolina said, okay, Phil Longo, why don't you just go off to Wisconsin? Because he wasn't running the ball enough.
Yeah,
so we got a
Look at North
clash.
Carolina.
I think it's unexpected to me, but it's not completely unexpected, if that
Sure.
makes sense.
Sure, that's fair.
Okay. So let's get back.
Robert's third and final pick.
Alrighty. Here's the dealio, Emilio. Mel Tucker, a man that we both loathe, all three of us actually loathe. He's going through some stuff, to say the least. His team, Michigan State, let a FCS school hang around first half and then turned on the Jets, right? He's saying Michigan State's defense is good enough to hold Washington and keep Washington within 16. He has Michigan State plus the points. I horribly disagree. Michigan State hasn't had a defense since Mel Tucker took over, even though that's his specialty, so I don't know where Robert thinks that Michigan State all of a sudden has a defense. I think it's a close game first half, and then Washington pours it on second half.
My odds are changing as we speak. Again, another. That's the first one I disagree with as well. Michigan State's going to get blown out. It's not even going to be close. I don't even know who they're playing. They're going to get blown out by them. They could be playing.
Michigan State's playing Washington.
Okay.
My
Yeah,
Heisman, the
definitely.
Heisman
Yeah.
winner, Michael Penix, playing. Yeah.
Your dark horse for the Pac-12. Yeah,
Yeah.
Washington.
My dark horse for the college football playoff. Yeah.
I got to put this bet in before it changes even more. Over 46.5. James Madison at Troy. Listen, I'm not picking this game because it's going to be close. Two really good small. You guys know I like picking the small ones.
Yeah.
The small teams.
Yep.
We don't know what we're going to get here with these two teams. They're both good, though. We're
Get
hoping
what
it's
you get.
JMU.
You don't throw
it's
a
like
fit.
UTSA. But they're both going to put up more than 25 points. Or one of them's going to rout the other one. Like, this was last week, JMU beat Virginia and it was a 70-point game at the end of the day.
Also, I don't think we're trash-talking Robert enough because I don't know that he listens to these podcasts at all. So, Robert...
He does have no soul, so that does make sense.
So, Robert, your last pick really sucked, and if you heard this...
Oh, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. Yeah, just lay into him.
You should shave your head, put on sackcloth, put ashes on, but you'll still only look tan because of how white you are, and you should mourn about how bad that pick was.
Okay.
You should ask for forgiveness from God.
Okay,
because of the sin you just committed on how bad that pick was.
Here's the deal. If Michigan State covers at 16.5, we'll never hear the end of it in the chat.
Oh, for sure.
But he's
still wrong.
Like, I called him out last week about the Michigan, and halfway through when Michigan was up 35-0, I'm like, with like a quarter and a half to go, I'm like, Robert, this ain't hitting. And then UNLV ended up covering, and he was all about it in the group chat. Simeon, who's your third and final? Oh, you just gave
that was my third and final pick.
Yeah.
Over 65.5, over 46.5. There we go. 46.5. That's the words.
Okay. All right. And then me for finally, Michigan's just running an efficient offense. The offense Michigan runs, and with the new clock rules, they're just going to a 35-0 42-3, 42-7 win is a blowout. That is a 66-13. That is your 81-6. That is Michigan's version of 56-0. Okay? That is, they dominated the whole game, and I think we're going to see that most of the year. So this line of 52.5 over-under against Bowling Green Saturday night on the Big Ten Network, I am hammering that under. I think this is 42-3, and it's Coastville, as in they're coasting, in the second half. Like, at worst,
they go through all 5 of their quarterbacks.
At worst, this is 49-0. And it's still the under. Unless if Michigan gets a pick 6 and a punt return for a touchdown, and Bowling Green has
all of their quarterbacks
has
for a
negative yardage, I just don't see how it's going on. I'm not saying Michigan will lose, but the cover also of 40 is also a little low because, again, I think it's like 42-7, But it's in control the whole way.
I don't disagree with you because Michigan's offense is designed to give them 35 to 42 points, basically, and whether or not they actually get that. And their defense is designed to hold.
It's an NFL-style team, yes.
And they approved that the last 2 weeks. And what they also proved is that everybody gets time. And when you give everybody time, your backup quarterback goes down, pulls his elbow weirdly on a stiff arm.
It was so weird.
And I think that's what it was, because it was his, anyway. And you put in a bunch of freshmen, except for the one that everybody's excited about, and you have some fun.
I think that they're waiting until, like, late in the season, and they're just going to put him out there. Like, you won't see him, you won't see him in the Penn State game. He'll roll along one play, and he'll just take off for 50 yards. Apparently, he's an athletic freak. We're talking about Alex Orji. I don't know why we haven't seen him. Apparently, he's kick returning, he's punt returning. I saw an article, maybe tight end. He'll pop out at tight end. I think eventually.
Oh, like a Taysom Hill, but a guy who can actually throw the ball?
A little bit. Because we don't know if he can throw the ball. Because he's never done.
He's just an athlete.
Every time he comes in, he's just running the football. He's big, he's muscular. Absolutely. So, yeah, I mean, you're going to see 9-10 quarterbacks from Michigan on Saturday night.
maybe a crisp dozen.
Yeah. J.J. McCarthy, and it kind of sucks because J.J. McCarthy is going to have another efficient night, I'm guessing. 23 of 25 for
because
200
they don't keep him in the entire
for
game
270 yards, and Shadur Sanders is going to have 900 yards passing because it's bleeping Colorado State that we're going to game day
and
for
they're
that.
And they're not going to put twos in. That's the annoying part. That's why your conference sucks, because you don't put your 2s in. Okay? That's why it's dying. And
Are you
all
talking
gonna
about
get
Colorado?
beat. Technically, they're in the Pac-12 still, so yeah.
Okay, this is the last game I want to play because I see we're at an hour now. So here we go. It is decided. This is the last
transition
game.
out. Yeah.
This is a lot. Just real quick. So College Game Day is going to Colorado State and Colorado.
Yeah.
I always play a game in my head. Where is a better destination for that? And sometimes they get it right.
Oh my gosh.
And other times it's not. Do you like this game? You like the idea of this game?
Yeah, I already have the answer.
Oh yeah, hit me with it, bruv.
It's Morgantown.
So that was gonna be. They were thinking if West Virginia played really good at Penn State, it'd be in Morgantown for the backyard brawl.
Listen, it doesn't matter. Or Illinois. It is the those are the number 1 and the number 2 party schools in the country. And you're going to take a party bus and you're not going to take Pat McAfee back to Morgantown on a Saturday morning when half of your guys are still drunk from Friday that show up. Old Crimson's flying.
Friday.
We got Orange.
You mean the previous Friday?
The previous Friday. They were preseason. Listen, they were pre-gaming in the summer. They went home and started to pre-game at West Virginia.
Yeah,
they were burning couches for practice.
Whoa.
They were throwing TVs off the balcony. They were ready for this season. And you decided to go to bleeping Colorado for game day because the dude's black. That is the most racist thing I've ever said. But that's why.
I don't think that's true.
Listen, if this dude was white, they wouldn't be going.
I think if this dude wasn't Deion Sanders, they wouldn't be going.
Even better.
So I think even a better
saved
place.
Me, actually,
over,
if it wasn't Deion Sanders, they wouldn't be going.
If it wasn't Deion Sanders, no, you're 100% correct. But
if this was Mel Tucker, they wouldn't be going either.
Like they don't have a lot of good options. The only other option I could see is Tennessee at Florida.
Yeah, again, the third Saturday, and these are rivalry games. And you pick of the 3 rivalry games that are on this week. You picked the worst one to go to.
Well, maybe it'll give and here's what I don't understand.
I do want to give them credit. They're going to the prettiest one.
They're probably going to go to I think it's next week. I think it's Oregon and they'll probably be in Eugene for Oregon and Colorado. This is going to become the year of Colorado, and I'm going to be sick of it by week 7.
Nah. The producers of College Game Day are first of all, less racist than I am. And second of all, they don't go back to back. They haven't gone back to back unless it's been a championship game.
Oh wait, I'm in week 3. I need to hit week 4. I'm like, wait, all these games look familiar.
There's some good ones in week 4. We'll see them.
There's some great ones. So week 4, Colorado at Eugene. That's where game day, and it's on ABC. That's where game day is going to be next week. So why? $10 says they're not. $10 says they're not. Okay, well then, let's decide that right now because they'll announce it.
Okay, here's the deal. You pay for the rest of my bets for the season. I make 10-cent bets. Okay, so you're not. I'm not going to.
Okay.
You pay for the rest of my 10-cent bets for the season. If they do not go to Eugene next week. And you know what? I need a non-monetary one right now for you. But yeah.
Oh, because it's Notre Dame and Ohio State and Iowa at Penn State.
What?
No, I'm not taking that bet then.
Okay, it is decided.
I'm not taking that bet.
We're leaving you because I've been a little bit too racist. Sorry for that, by the way. I need to check my privilege. And Micaiah is wrong about things. I don't know. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everyone. Wash your hands, you filthy animals. I still think there's a good chance they end up going to Eugene.